Sequel number 17. After the rejection of the continued digging of the extension of the Kabaka's Lake, what happened next? Kabaka in May 1888 summoned the Mugabe Gabriel Chintu and the Navy commander Gabunga and briefed them on how Muslims and Christians were going to be coerced into ships to Lake Narubale, that is Lake Victoria, and the island on which they were going to be taken was called Nsazi, where he would starve them to death for rejecting to extend his man-made lake. Mwanga told them that he would sail to the Nsazi island himself, and then once there, invite the Muslims and Christians before abandoning them there. The Mugabe Gabriel Chintu returned to sea, having assured Apollo Kagwa that he was on the revolt side. Yes, a revolt, because now a rebellion was in the cooking. Gabriel Chintu was not buying into killing people, mass murder. Gabriel Chintu was not going to be part of it. Yeah. And this was in May 1888. Mwanga's plan is set in place. Nsazi Island in Lake Victoria was prepared to receive both Muslims and Christian prisoners. But these were the diggers, the lake diggers. When we say Muslims, we are not saying the entire community. No. But actually, all these were the men, because every man who is young was digging the lake. So all those were to be put on Nsazi Island and have them killed. And so that was the plan. But then Gabriel Chintu and the Gabunga leaked the plan to the Pit group leaders, Apollo Kagwa, Muguluma, and Henry Nonyintono. And the three in turn began to plan a coup to take over power, not to become kings, but to dislodge Mwanga and probably appoint another king and have him on. Now, there were two sailing points, Munyonyo and Entebbe port, where the ships will begin the loading of Muslims and Christians to Nsazi. Now, things begin to move. In July 1888, the Mugabe told Mwanga too that all was set, and Gabunga, together with Gabriel Chintu, were ready at sea. So a big group of armed Muslims, Catholic Christians, and Anglican Christians at Entebbe and on Lake Narubale began to board several boats, as you see in these pictures. The video has some pictures for you. Artist impression of what was happening at both Mulungu and Entebbe. Big groups of Muslims and Christians, therefore, were beginning to leave for Nsazi, while some boats continued at sea for Nsazi, others returned to Mulungu port. Now, at Nkao, this is Mengo, Apollo Kagwa and Henry Nyonyintono and Muguluma were in command of soldiers to seize control of the important installations at Nkao, Munyonyo, and Entebbe. The soldiers shot and killed Katikiro Mukasa Muzinga, and his body was taken to the royal tombs at Kasubi for burial. He had claimed, when still alive, that the Brotherhood blood covenant he had made with Foloni Mutesa I qualified him to be buried with the royals. But when the soldiers arrived with his body wrapped in a backcloth, it was rejected by the keepers of the tomb. After the intervention of some members of the royal family, it was agreed to bury him at the main entrance gate, and so it was. The fallen Katikiro's grave has since been well maintained at the main entrance as you enter from the main road, from the Kasubi to Muziwazara road. As you enter the first hut, that's where he lies in a tomb. Meanwhile, when Mwanga too arrived at Nsazi, he realized that 80% of the boats that had left him had not arrived yet, and both Mugabe Gabriel Chintu and Gabunga were nowhere to be seen. So Mwanga boarded his boat with some of his concubines and sailed to Magu Island, which was a darling of the Arab trade, of the Arab slave traders, and he took refuge there. Muguruma took some of his Muslim soldiers to Namwaya Palace, removed Prince Chiwewa Mutebi, the eldest brother of Mwanga II, and on arrival sounded the royal drum. It was the 1st of August 1888, and both Apollo Kagwa and Henry Nyonyintono had gone to calm soldiers who were not part of the coup d'etat. It was there that they heard the royal drumming that normally welcomes a new king. So when they rushed to Nkao Palace, they found Muguruma was already installing Prince Chiwewa Mutebi as the 32nd Kabaka of Buganda, without any consultation with the Christians' army leaders. Now, to appease the Christians, Henry Nyonyintono, the Roman Catholic rebellion leader, was appointed the new Katikiro. Apollo Kagwa, the Protestant Christian rebel leader, was appointed the single county chief, Mukwenda, and the deputy Omugabe, this is the young man, hardly 17 years, Ham Mukasa, who was also the spy who revealed the plan that Mwanga II had hatched to destroy both Muslims and Christians, was appointed as sub-county chief. Can you imagine? At that age, yes, he was appointed as sub-county chief at Kioza in Insagu, that is Busiro County. Muguruma became the palace chief of chiefs, Saro. This is the Muslim leader. And like father, like son, Kabaka Chiwewa Mutebi refused to be circumcised. He kept his sandals on his feet during Islamic prayers. And he did not bother to face Mecca like the rest while praying. The Muslims could not stomach a repeat of Mutesa 1 days, and Muguruma secretly planned the next palace coup. He would have wanted to kill Apollo Kagwa also, and also kill Nyonyintono for him to be able to be very successful. However, his plan leaked, and Kabaka Chiwewa Mutebi announced that the Roman Catholic and the Protestant army leaders had on the 12th of October 1884 gone to him and informed him how they, the Muslims, had plans. And maybe that is how Katikiro Mukasa was able to actually sideline them and have the mosque palace taken over. So this was a kind of a repeat of how can we defeat the Muslims. So Kabaka Chiwewa was trying to talk to the Christian factions to be able to dislodge, but he was not very successful. Now, Kagwa had never gone to Singo, where he had been appointed. He was around. Yeah, he's a big man. He's now a whole army commander of a whole faction within the Baganda men. So he was not in a hurry. So he rushed to meet Kabaka Chiwewa Mutebi together with Katikiro Nyonyintono. And Saro Muguruma was not invited at that meeting. So Muguruma was very busy mobilizing his Muslim troops. And so when he saw Nyonyintono, Muguruma with Chiwewa, the Muslim faction began shouting to the Christian soldiers guarding the Kabaka that you Kafiris, Kafiris is Obobu Kafiri, today you will not survive. Come out and see. Now the Christian soldiers in the Kabaka's palace also responded, we are not women. Shoot us, and then you will see how we shoot you. Now, the Christian soldiers in the palace fired at the Muslim soldiers outside. And both Henry and Nyonyintono took cover, while Apollo Kagwa fired from the palace roof. The Christian soldiers pursued the Muslims outside as Henry Nyonyintono crossed the compound, shooting as he ran to his office outside the palace enclosure. Because remember, the Katikiro's office is always outside the Kabaka's enclosure. So he was trying to flee to his office. Now, Apollo Kagwa managed to escape and went to mobilize the Anglican Christian army to attack the Muguruma Muslim army. The Muslim returned with a bigger force and pulled the angered Henry Nyonyintono from his office. Actually, he was not guarded. He was angry, but he was not guarded. So they pulled him from his office. They stripped him naked and accused him of failure to circumcise. They then castrated him and left him bleeding. Actually, he bled to death. Muguluma then came out of the palace with Kabaka Chiwewa Mutebi tied with ropes and handed him over to the Muslim soldiers to deliver him to the Nakatema Nsanji Royals prison. Apollo Kagwa's Christian forces attacked, but the Roman Catholic army refused to join him, saying that their leader had been killed. Now, that meant that Apollo Kagwa's Anglican Christian army could not beat the strong Muslim army on their own. So he decided to flee and ordered all Christian soldiers, both Roman and Catholics and Protestants, to cross to the single county where he had been made a chief. So they crossed into Maogola County and finally arrived in Ankole Kingdom. Chiwewa Mutebi had been on the throne for only 42 days, a record in the entire Chintu dynasty. In fact, it's a record to date. He was also the first Chiwewa ever to sit on the throne, which was before then a taboo, a cultural taboo. And so, tomorrow, when we go to the 18th sequel, we shall see the situation in Kabola. Gentlemen and ladies who are enjoying these sequels, the subscription is not good enough. Yeah, please subscribe. Subscribe, make me happy too, especially if you are enjoying these sequels. Please. Tomorrow we begin from here. May the good Lord bless us all. Bless us all.